All right, guys, we are back on Tomes, and for once, I'm not reviewing a book by Doug TeNapel or Iconic Comics, and so there you go. For those of you who don't think that I can change, I can. And so what I'm reviewing today is this graphic novel right here. It's a smaller one, so I guess it's a comic, whatever. But it's Jack Irons' The Steel Cowboy, and it is absolutely fantastic. If you have a chance to get your hands on it, go for it. I'm looking forward to, I believe it's August or next January. I can't remember when. I've backed a lot of graphic novels lately, and so I forget when things are coming in. And I'm getting the physical copies of these, and so I'll show them off when they come in. But this is the digital copy. This was sent to me as a review copy, and really I reached out to them to ask if I could review this. So it wasn't like they were paying for a sponsorship or anything. It is one of those books I read, I enjoyed, and so I really did want to do a spot on it on the channel. And so this is Jack Irons, the Steel Cowboy, and it is the story of this main character. I think you can see him there, and he is one of those immortal soldier tropes, if you know what I mean. So in a lot of comics and a lot of mythology things like that, you've got that character who doesn't stay dead and he's got memories from previous lives. That's kind of this guy. So he talks about in this first volume the multiple times that he has died throughout history, and either it's a I'm coming back from the dead, or it is a I my memories just linger and I'm reborn, and so on and so forth. Because he makes the point in the book. He says I have memories going back 2,000 years, but I've been alive 250. And so you can kind of make conclusions as you will. It's more of the I've got all the memories, not so much as I've been reincarnated. But it doesn't really matter. It's kind of a cool premise. All right, I know it's kind of a trope by now, where you're like, okay, there's enough heroes who've done that through the years. Either they can't die, and so they've lived and fought in a dozen wars, or it's the character that keeps coming back from the dead. And so I just wanted to kind of point you to this again. I love the art style. It's just fun. I do always enjoy it when they work in things like the credits through stuff like this, where you've got the basically the whiskey bottle or whatever, Proto beer. And so again, I'll just cycle through this. It starts out, and it's set in ancient Sumer, and he kind of goes through some of his early deaths and some of the things he's learned. And what this is doing is it's setting up the world that he lives in and kind of why he has issues. Trusting the government, et cetera, et cetera. Because mankind is evil, and mankind betrays you, and mankind does brutal things, and so you can imagine if you lived for 2,000 years and you got to experience all that, you're probably going to be a little bit jaded. And so that's kind of where he goes. And again, it doesn't shy away from the violence. You can kind of see here how he's hopping. The set piece is he's set in a futuristic tavern, and he's recounting his lives stories to this guy across the bar. And so he's just kind of going on with some of this stuff. Now I love it because it's kind of got that steampunk feel. Now again, I'm not so eloquent that I know the difference primarily between steampunk, diesel punk, all the other punks that you've got, but you get my gist, right? The steampunk like feel. He's the steel cowboy, Jack Irons, and again, you can kind of see him here riding a motorcycle pulled by two horses, metal horses. And again, he keeps coming back to these stories. He tells kind of about the violence and the bloodshed that he's seen through the years. And so again, it is not one of those books for the faint of heart where you're like, oh, I'm squeamish at the sight of blood. But again, you kind of get this idea of the betrayals that he's seen through the years, the bloodshed that he's seen through the years, all of the things that he has experienced. And he's just recounting the story again and again. I don't want to ruin the story for you. But again, you're getting all these areas where he has seen kind of the worst of humanity. Now, like I said, it's coming to this set piece, and so it's set in the future Earth 2076. He's kind of set in this Western-ish steampunk area. It kind of would remind you if you're familiar with StarCraft or some of those type of things. It's got some of that kind of post-apocalyptic, StarCraft meets Fallout, some of those things. This setting here honestly reminds me of something straight out of like Warcraft, Nether Storm, if you know what I'm talking about, out in Outland. And so again, he's talking, and he's just, like I said, recounting his story. It's a pretty neat book. That is volume one. Now, as you get into volume two, you start getting into more of the corporations that have taken over the universe. So you have a corporation like Famine and some of these others. And what he's doing is he's drawing from basically the four horsemen of the apocalypse. And so it's kind of a neat premise. It's pretty intriguing. And again, he's just kind of going over and over the various betrayals, the various reasons he acts the way he does. And again, it's a really cool character, and I think you guys would enjoy it. Now, where is this available? You can go to his website, and you can check him out there. So again, I'll put a link in the description. And his website actually has some of these that you can read for free online. But he is also raising money right now to fund the 4th volume. And so this is just volume 1. Again, I don't want to ruin the plot by going any farther in it, but again, it's an intriguing premise, and I'd suggest pick it up if you can. Go read it on his website, get a feel for it, and like I said, then go back it. It's really great to encourage an author, but you should probably fund them as well if you enjoy their work. Guys, thank you for joining me for this really quick preview of this comic, and again, I don't want to ruin it for you if you're new to it. I'll get into a little bit more detail in a future video. But again, check the website below and go check it out. I think you'll enjoy this, especially if you're into more of that steampunk and futuristic kind of post-apocalyptic stuff. And guys, I'm signing out. This is Mike from Tomes.